ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Canto 4, Chapter 27, Text 3. तयोपगतः परिरब्धकन्दरो तयोपगुदः परिरब्धकन्दरो रहो हनुमन्तरीरपकृष्टचेतनः रहो हनुमन्तरीरपकृष्टचेतनः न कालरंहो बुबुदे दुरातयम् न कालरंहो बुबुदे दुरात्ययम् दिवा निशेति प्रमदा परिग्रहः दिवा निशेति प्रमदा परिग्रहः तयोपगुदः परिरब्धकन्दरो रहो हनुमन्तिरपकृष्टचेतनः न कालरंहो बुबुदे दुरात्ययम् दिवा निशेति प्रमदा परिग्रहः तयोपगतः परिरब्धकन्दरो रहो हनुमन्तिरपकृष्टचेतनः न कालरंहो बुबुदे दुरात्ययम् दिवा निशेति प्रमदा परिग्रहः तयोपगुदा परिरब्धकन्दरो न कालरंहो बुबुदे दुरात्ययम् दिवा निशेति प्रमदा परिग्रहः तयोपगुदः परिरब्धकन्दरो रहो हनुमन्तिरपकृष्टचेतनः न कालरंहो बुबुदे दुरात्ययम् दिवा निशेति प्रमदा परिग्रहः तयोपगुदा परिरब्धकन्दरो रहो हनुमन्तिरपकृष्टचेतनः न कालरंहो बुबुदे दुरात्ययम् दिवा निशेति प्रमदा परिग्रहः माताजी तयोपगुदा परिरब्धकन्दरो रहो हनुमन्तिरपकृष्टचेतनः Nakalarambho bubude durateyam diva nisheti pramada varigraha tayo pakuda parirabdha kandaro Ragho anumante rapadastike chanaha Nakalaramho bubude duratyayam Diva niseti pramada parigraha Tayo pakuda parirabdha kandaro Raho anumantre rapakrishta chetanaha Nakalaramho bubude duratyayam Divaniseti pramada parigraha Thaya by the queen Upagudaha was embraced Parirabdha embraced Kandaraha shoulders Rahaha in a solitary place Anumantre by joking words Apakrishta Chetanaha having degraded consciousness not Kalaramaha the passing of time Bubuddha was aware of Duratyayam impossible to overcome Diva day, Nisa, night, Iti, thus, Pramada, by the woman, Parigraha, captivated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Queen Purañjanī embraced the king, and the king also responded by embracing her shoulders. In this way, in a solitary place, they enjoyed joking words. Thus, King Purañjana became very much captivated by his beautiful wife and deviated from his good sense. He forgot that passing of days and nights meant that his span of life was being reduced without profit. Purport. The word pramada in this verse is very significant. A beautiful wife is certainly enlivening to her husband, but at the same time is the cause of degradation. The word pramada means enlivening as well as maddening. Generally, a householder does not take the passing of days and nights very seriously. A person in ignorance takes it as the usual course that days come, and after the days the night comes. This is the law of material nature. But man in ignorance does not know that when sun rises early in the morning, it begins to take away the balance of his life. Thus, day after day, the span of one's life is reduced, and forgetting the duty of human life. The foolish man simply remains in the company of his wife and enjoys her in a secluded place. Such a condition is called Apakrishta Chetana or degraded consciousness. A human consciousness should be used for elevation to Krishna consciousness. But when a person is too much attached to his wife and family affairs, he does not take Krishna consciousness very seriously. He thus becomes degraded, not knowing that he cannot buy back even a second of his life in return for millions of dollars. The greatest loss in life is passing time without understanding Krishna. Every moment of our life should be utilized properly, and the proper use of life is to increase devotional service to the Lord. Without devotional service to the Lord, the activities of life become simply a waste of time. Shrama iva kevalam. simply by becoming a dutiful. We do not make any profit in life, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.8. Dharmaha swa anustitaha pumsaha. Vishvakshena katasya natpodeya yadi ratim shamaiva kevalam. If after performing one's occupation duty very perfectly, one does not make progress in Krishna consciousness, it should be understood that he has simply wasted his time in valueless labor. Translation again. King Purañjanī embraced the king, and the king also responded by embracing her shoulders. In this way, in a solitary place, they enjoyed joking the words. Thus, King Purañjana became very much captivated by his beautiful wife and deviated from his good sense. He forgot that the passing of days and night means that his span of life has been reduced without profit. Let's chant Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimurandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapata Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savad Bharjane Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpataruvasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Take the blessings of all the Vaishnavis assembled here. Such a beautiful verse and purport by Prabhupada. Yeah. So this chapter is attack by Chandavega of this on the city of King Purañjana. So Narad Muni has been telling. So he is telling about it, allegory about King Purañjana. So he is telling it. So he has been bewildered. So the King Purañjana current status is a degraded consciousness. He has been completely bewildered. So this verse is mainly talk about the importance of time. And Prabhupada is very focused in saying that urgency. Because the time is something like it comes and goes. Prabhupada beautifully one. A person in ignorance takes it as the usual course that days comes, after that days night comes. This is the law of material nature. Okay, now it's a daytime. After 12 hours it's a night. Next day. The day comes and days goes. They don't see the value in it. It's like every day is like we are getting closer to the death. So it's like simply, Radhanath Maharaj says that simply in the pass of time, we are just going from womb to tomb. We are in a womb and after some time we are in the tomb. Then we just cycle is keep on continuing it. So the time is such a precious element of it. Right? So he just, with the King Purañjanī, the Purañjana, he's just having, joking, enjoying it, he's just going. But he's missing the whole time itself, right? Krishna says that one, Kalo Asmi, Lokasya Krit Pravadaha. What he says, time I am. And then he did not stop. The great destroyer of the worlds. The time is the greatest destroyer of everything, right? So, there are so many people who focus on one, even mundane people, right? Like ancient says that one, time is what prevents everything happening at once, right? If the time is the nature of the one. Also, even Steve Jobs very favorably say that one, right? The most precious thing what we have is time. Time is the most precious thing what we have at the moment. So, how do we really understand? So, if you have a house, and then if there is a termite, we may not really know. The termite will look very tiny. If you have seen a termite, it just look very tiny. If there is a one termite comes and then you are not just do it, it just eats everything slowly, slowly, slowly. At one time, you don't see that your house is completely destroyed. That's how the one time. Time is element is, we don't know, but time always knows us. Time always behind us. We are not careful of the time, but the time is always looking onwards, right? So always we need to really think about, okay, every sunrise, sunset, it's a beautiful event. People goes to see the sunrise and sunset. Oh wow, it's nice and one. But the only thing question is we need to ask it, are we getting closer to Krishna? Or are we getting closer to the death? That's the only thing we need to see it. It's like where we are progressing it, the whole thing, right? If there is no, if it's like simply going to the death, it's not, that's what Prabhupada writes it here. A span of life is being reduced without profit. What is the one? Right? So Bhagavatam says, Shramaiva Kevalam. It is like useless labor, whatever you're doing it. It gives an example of the husk, you are just doing it. Already the rice has been taken away. What is the use of doing that work? That is what we are trying to do it. That's what the Bhagavatam is trying to teach. Right? So we know, right? Means the Yaksha is asked to Maharaj Yudhishthira, what is the most astonishing thing have you seen in this world? He says that one, every day countless of living beings are going to the abode of death. And people are just remind that they will live forever. The same world, in this world. Any day will be, it's like same thing in the office also. It's like whether you are in this cycle or the next cycle of redundant. That's how the current trend and is going on. So it's basically like, it's just keep going, rotation. But what are we doing it useful of those things? That's the question of it, right? And another question is here. Oh, okay, so that means do we need to live for a longer life? So even Bhagavatam says that, what is the value of living long life? If someone is want to live a long life, Bhagavatam is saying like, living a long life is waste. So if you are trying to just to only to live in the bodily consciousness, why do you need a human life and want to live for a long life? So that's the one. Kim pratmatasya bahubi. What is the use of living long and then trying to do it one? So that's the very important things we need to really understand, right? So Prabhupada brings in the two kind of cases. One is that person in ignorance, right? Recently I was doing a book distribution. I met one lady. She's in the early 30s or something. She was like, and I just go and how are you? And she saw I am holding Bhagavad Gita. She understands. I'm coming to give the books. She said, I'm an atheist. I said, fine, you've been atheist. That's good to know. Then atheist means you should read what Krishna is trying to say, Bhagavad Gita. You read and then you can become a more better atheist. She said, no, I have read it. Oh, okay, what did you read? I read everything, Bhagavad Gita, these things and all. Oh, okay, what did you really understand? Why did you then become an atheist? And she said, no, I took all the good things, then I became an atheist. I know what she's trying to do. And then she said, it's okay, I'm ready to happy to go to hell, or even I'm not going to buy this book. I said, fine, you don't need to buy the book, but you are an atheist, then why do you believe in the hell? The people are completely ignorant and then they don't know what they are thinking. They have always thinking that they know everything. They don't know they are completely going towards the death. Right? So, everyone has their definition of the life and then purpose of their life. That's the whole problem. Everyone is in everyone has their own movie. In their movie they play two roles. Either they will play a hero or heroine, another one is they are the vindicted. So that means they have been suppressed by someone. They never see that they are the villain. So they see that that's only the role they are playing it. That's a whole. They think that their life is this one and then do it. The problem of this is, it's like Prabhupada beautifully explains this. What is the problem of is, everyone is drawing circle with them as a center. Right? I circle this one. Maybe I put a very little small circle. Someone is putting their own circle. When there is a clash, then that's a ego clash. Then it's what happening. At our level, there will be clashes, anger. If there is you have a very powerful, then it goes for a war. Right? So that's the whole thing. We just having a ignorance. Right? That's what we always see. That's what the Bhagavatam gives us one. Right? It just gives us the knowledge and to see how do we visualize it. So our situation is such a, Radhanath Samaraj very beautifully says in one of the lecture, our situation is a very precarious situation. Most of you are young in this one. So if you are getting certain point of older days, when you get it up, you will not, sometimes you will feel that you cannot lift your hand to fully extend. That's how we think that our body will be things, and we will be lift means. I know that suddenly one day I just got to wake up and I saw that I couldn't able to completely lift my whole hand and things. Then I went to doctor. He said, "Oh, this is these things happen. You need to go." It is such a painful. Another one I know that some person, by just getting something from the kitchen, just bend down and take it, she had a pain. That's all. It's like that's a common thing. We do it in 1,000 times in a days or so much thing. Suddenly will go. It's like a break. So Radhanath Samaraj says that our life is such a precarious. In a lotus leaf, if there is a drop of water, it doesn't stay. It doesn't know when it will fall down. What is the thing? That's how that our state of the life is. In that we are trying to think that, oh, we are a super one. We have a big family, friends. We are taking care of everything. Everyone is, depends on me. My family depends on mine. But our state itself, such a precarious state. We don't know when a drop of water in a lotus leaf can just fall down any time. That's the only thing. Prabhupada gives always a beautiful examples. In the slaughterhouse, the goat will go to the slaughterhouse. The goat will be like, it sees that it's been getting slaughtered. It's always there in the queue. When in the queue, it's always eating the grass, feeling happy, nice, having fun. It knows that one and then having one. It goes and then completely seeing, but it is completely bewildered, just eating the grass and what is being that one. That's how the Maya is been alluring us. We are also eating the grass. We know that we are in the queue when it is the one, right? My Guru Maharaj always says that one. The Maya is such a one. She is like imagine the young child cries for a milk. Maya is like, come to my lap, and then she takes and then put it in her lap and then chop the head. How such a crucial, that's how the Maya is doing it. We never know how our heads have been chopped up on it. That's what we are just keep on repeating based on the ignorance. That's how the Maya is tricking it out. It can come from, in case of Purañjana, through something else, to Queen Purañjanī, or in other cases, even kind of thing, right? Let's say I've been like, Radhanath Samaraj says that one, it's not just comforts in a family life. It can be little floor in a brahmacharya ashram. I just have it. Radhanath Samaraj gives one example. Sometimes they see that, wearing a wooden slipper is very austere and looking these things. And people started wearing wooden slipper and creating so much noise in the temple. Oh, my wooden slipper, his wooden slipper, like that, right? We think it's like it can happen in a very small, subtle way, or it's in the big, very this thing. That's the whole purpose of it. Then another one very important thing is why we need to read Bhagavatam. It opens up the eyes. It brings up what is the one. The beauty of the Bhagavatam, what we are reading, is the Prabhupada purport. The the Prabhupada purpose, right? If you look at here, in this one, it doesn't, if you look at one, Prabhupada writes, the life of being reduced without profit. It doesn't have any, in a word to word, if you see, there is no word, something like a without profit and all. Prabhupada is bang on target. What it is trying to tell it us, it is, he is just giving it is. And then the purport, he just, this is like a materialistic, animalistic life. There is a something else. He always brings about the reality, Krishna consciousness. One time someone asked Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, in Bhagavad Gita, if you see that it will talk about karma yoga. If you see the purport, Prabhupada writes about the bhakti yoga. Any verse you take it, Prabhupada always touch of the bhakti yoga and supreme way. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says that one, Prabhupada wants to, if anyone reads at least one purport, they should get the ultimate goal of life. Someone who we never knows. We give so many Bhagavad Gita books. How many people read? We want everyone to read it and understand it. But how many people read? If someone read even at least 10 pages of Bhagavad Gita, they have understood what has to be done. Even they don't want to come to the first Dhritarashtra Vacha. If they read that Prabhupada for a Bhagavad Gita given a 30 pages of introduction. 30 pages. If someone reads that 30 pages of introduction, what is the whole that 700 pages of the Bhagavad Gita has been there? It's been there. That's a very beautiful purpose. That's what the Prabhupada is trying to bring. So what is the beauty of the Prabhupada is he brings the urgency. He always brings up the urgency in that one. He is always trying to bring the focus. It's like a sharp focus, right? So that is what he just make it. So what makes, means Radhanath Samaraj beautifully says that one. If he say that, he says that one, who are his disciples are? They are like basically hippies. They are like a lazy. They don't want to do anything. But when they come in contact with the Prabhupada, they are working for 16 to 18 hours. And some cases they do, means my Guru Maharaj and all says that one, in their time, they do book distribution until whole night. They'll come, attend the Mangalarati, chanting, then go back. That's a day they have done few days as well. So such kind of one. What make them that kind of a transition? Because Prabhupada brings the urgency. He brings the value, the importance of it. That's a one. But these days, do we have that kind of urgency? It's all independent one, right? So Prabhupada one, if you see, is always focus on emphasis on preaching. Where are my books? Distribute my books. That's the one. He just wanted go on. It's like he says always one, we are in the war with Maya. If you are in a war situation, you will not take even a minute thing. You will always thinking how to conquer it, right? That is what the Prabhupada has wanted. So Radhanath Samaraj gives his example. So he was like, in early days, he was in New Vrindavan. So in a temple, and you can see, read it in the Journey Home book. He was in the temple. Maharaj is the only one pujari. There is a cow. He needs to milk the cow, take care of the cows, and then do the whole puja and make the sweets and everything. He's the one, the whole day. But and Prabhupada is always stays in things we need to preach, we need to go out. And Radhanath Samaraj, I'm here, I cannot go out, I don't know what to do. He was praying to that Lord in that New Vrindavan. So sometimes they asked to go and preach him. We need more devotees in the temple, go and preach. And the first thing they gave him is to go to some kind of universities where Maharaj has to give class in the PhD candidates. So Maharaj was thinking himself, he is thinking, in his humility he is thinking, who am I? I haven't even studied. I'm just like a dropout of the college. I haven't studied. Now I'm going to go and ask me to go and give in front of the PhD candidates, go on this. How they will listen to me. That is what the one. Then he took, we know Maharaj humility, but he took that one and then he just delivered it. That's how the one thing, when we have been taking the shelter, that means we'll be guided it. It's not like what we know. So one time someone asked Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, so your disciples are not that much educated, but wherever they go, they are winning the argument. He said that, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said that one, because they have know the bhakti, that comes the real knowledge it. They know what is the real knowledge it, right? So always they say that one, the current education is as to making us a better asses, right? So how do you become what is the duty of ass is to work for some master. So the same thing, we have been whole process of purpose of education is to build so that we work very hard to make someone is happy, right? So that's the only thing. Prabhupada always, that's what he quotes it, right? So he says that one, he gives one time example, one big good analogy. If your house is on fire, we cannot say someone, oh okay, you sleep for some more time peacefully. We'll tell that, get up and run. You just acted. That's how the one. We are just in a time. We don't know what is our time, how long we have it. We just have to do that one. Alright? So Bhagavatam brings this one very, so many stories are there. We'll look at that. Saubhari Muni. Saubhari Muni is, he's been he's doing a very austere inside the deep of river Yamuna. He's just doing a austere tapasya. He's just doing a tapasya inside the river Yamuna. Once he just see there is a fish engaged in affairs. Just seeing that, he just pursued the pleasure. Oh, I also want to enjoy it. So that person was, Saubhari Muni was not like a normal Kali Yuga person. He's been under the Yamuna current. He's been doing tapasya for so much years. For things. He's become such a world. And then what he goes, he want to get married. He's going and to the king Mandata. He just goes and then ask one. Oh, then when the Saubhari Muni goes, king asks, so what do you want it? So he says, I want to get married. King Mandata smartfully said that, oh, I'm happy. He has 50 daughters. He said, I'm happy. But let my daughters, with whomever want to choose, they can choose you. Then he said, okay, then no one will not choose. Saubhari Muni also smart. He knows, okay. Then he did. He with the mystic, he became like a super young. So when he became so attractive and young, all the 50 girls said, I want to marry him only. So then he married all the 50 daughters of the king. So all the princes, he married it. Then what happened? Then he started having his family life and 100 childs from every, the daughters he got it from that, every wife of 50 wives he got 100 childs. So he got so much of time. At one point of time he really thought about, hold on, what I am doing it here. I was doing in self-realization, I was doing so severe austerity. Now suddenly the whole thing I have been wasted. I have been completely going in the family life and things. I have never been getting satisfied. Then what I am trying to do here? Then he realized and then he goes back. Right? The same thing we see it in the King Yayati as well. King Yayati, he got he had been cursed to become a old age. And then he begged his sons to give the youth. He got the youth. And then he started enjoying. Then he realized it. It is never getting satisfied what I am doing it. So then he started doing it. Right? So that one, he beautifully says that one. So it's like in a fire, we just put a drop of ghee, the fire will not go away. It will keep fire go on. That's like, my Guru Maharaj says that one. In India way of doing is Kama Sindhu. It's like you just put a small drop of each and fire. It's like a small lusty desires. Whereas in the western side, it's a Kama Bindu. It's an ocean of desires. In both the cases, it's always the fire will be, the material desires will be always burning it. There is no end for it. That is the whole thing, right? Pingala, in the 11th canto, Pingala, one of Pingala Gita. In Uddhava Gita, Krishna gives that example of Pingala Gita. Means Avaduta Brahmana, he is one of the, he learned from a Pingala. Pingala is nothing but she is one of the prostitute. Okay. So in that one, that prostitute, she says a very beautiful one. Okay, that's a very long story. I'll just come to the point. Pingala is nothing but she's a prostitute. She was one day, she just comes out, beautifully dressing it out, and then she was just looking, oh, this man will come to me. She is having so much money and then give me and enjoy with me like that. She was thinking. But that day, no one has come. And then she got frustrated. Then she comes and then she started singing the song. That's a Pingala song by Pingala, Pingala Gita. In that one thing she says very beautifully, if you see any man, if you see anything in this material world, it's always going to give unhappiness, lamentation, frustration, and unsatisfaction. If you see any of those things, we all want to get a happiness. We want a happiness, right? But whatever we pursue, anything, we end up in either of these four things: unhappiness, frustration, lamentation, or we don't have any satisfaction. That's how we'll just do it. That's what she's telling. Then we need to pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We need to take a shelter of it, right? So another one more from Bhagavatam. This is from the Muchakunda, right? He says that one. There are two things he learned as a king. One is he says one. The king, there is a one king, like he says, you are like a king. You in the day you will be sitting in the throne. All the subordinate kings and fell down your feet, and that's what you think yourself. But whereas in the night, when you go to Antapuram or the quarters, queen quarters, you will be like a cat. You are just to go and fall in the feet of the woman. That's how you are just being, your lusty desires have been here. We think that in the day you are like a king and then people are coming and falling your feet. But in the same person you go and fall in the feet in the night. That's our thing. And then he says another one. So the time, we may forget the time, but time never ever forgets it. That's the only thing. We think that we forget the time, that he never forgets. The time is never been forgotten. That's a whole thing, right? So this is the time factor is very important. If you just try to do something, right? Gorgon Swami Maharaj always says that one. What is our mind? Sutamita Ramaniya Chinta. Always we think that, oh, my son, my wife, my child, my home. We are always thinking on that one. How do we make this happy? How do we do these things? That is what we always think in all our mind, right? If you look at, compared with, at least with my parents or earlier days, we have more freedom compared with what they had, and then more choices. Definitely lot of comfortable. But in these days, if you see, the volume of anxiety, depressions, it's huge. That means what we are going on in completely, right? We have so much of freedom, so much of choices, right? So much of choices, so much of comfort. But that doesn't, but whereas, of course, in this way, our chemistry bills also keep on increasing it, right? So that's how the whole thing has been going. So I'll try to summarize. This is, the Prabhupada is bringing here one. So here Prabhupada quotes that one, day after day the span of one's life is reduced, and forgetting the duty of human man. The foolish man simply remains in the company of his wife and enjoys her in secluded place. Such a condition is called apakrita chetana, degraded consciousness. Human consciousness should be used for elevation to Krishna consciousness. So that's the one thing. And Prabhupada here beautifully says that when person is too much attached to his wife and family affairs, he does not take Krishna consciousness very seriously, right? So I'll finish with this point. So we all know that very famous set of verses in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Arjuna says that one means Krishna talks about dhyana yoga and everything. Arjuna says that one controlling mind is very hard. I cannot control my mind. Even I can control the wind and everything. Then Krishna says, we know that one. Okay, Krishna says you can control your mind by detachment and practice. The next verse Krishna is telling very important. Why the mind control is important. If you are not control your mind, you cannot progress in spiritual life. You cannot achieve this self-realization. So if our mind is completely like Guru Govinda Maharaj says that Sutamita Ramani Chinta, or always we are thinking about something, we cannot really come to this one. So always we think that one, we are thinking something else. That's what Prabhupada is telling it. If our mind is always trying to do, we definitely will not come to that one. Come and in the spiritual platform, that's what. We'll always say that, oh, this will happen to me, that will happen to me. Right? These days if you go in an office, the talks are like how A is, when A is going to take my job, or this restructuring is, or that war. We are such a insignificant. We cannot, at least I cannot go and stop any of the war, someone is doing it, or I cannot go and how the impact of that job taking it or restructuring, nothing we cannot do. What else we can do? We just do our duty and leave it to the Krishna. That's how we just do it. So what happens when we just always thinking in this one, we just miss the real profit. We just spend beating the husk without any rise. So that's what the Prabhupada is talking. So I'll pause here. Is there any comment, correction, anything else? Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.